What's up, gang? Just wanted to go over the results of some testing that I've been doing for the last couple days, couple weeks. And this is a process that I go through every year around this time. And towards, depending on how my Air Force Reserve annual tour falls, usually the end of July can really be crunch time for me because I'll be gone for 2 weeks. Come back home, August, I'll be getting ready for the bow hunter games at the end of August. And in September, technically here in Virginia, we can start hunting. So while it may seem like hunting season is a little ways off, it's really gonna be here before I know it, and I've got to get stuff squared away. So for this year, for the 2026 year, and going forward, I'll have 2 hunting bows. I've got this Matthews Creed that many of you know the story behind, but that's a special bow to me that I want to kill a pile of deer with. But I've also got this Matthews Arc 30. This is their latest and greatest. So the question is always, what arrow build am I going to shoot and what broadhead am I going to shoot? And I'm not the type to just stick to one thing. I think I stick to certain things year after year, Easton arrows being one of them, Easton 5 mils or 6 mils. But I always like to test and tinker and try to optimize and see what works and be able to give out different recommendations for different setups. So for the last 2 years, I have been using the Easton 5mm match grade. Last year, I ran a heavier setup around 460, 470 grains. This year, what I'm settling on, or what I want to test in the woods, is a 430 grain setup. So that's the Easton match grade, and I just wanted to do a simple build. So this has the stock hit insert and the match grade collar. So that's 30 grains of components up front versus the 75 that I had last year. And then I'm running a 125 grain head to finish that out. So for the arc, what I decided on is 2 different broadheads. I'm gonna run the VPA, the Vantage Point Archery Omega 125. So it's a 4-blade fixed head, or it's a 2-blade with bleeders, however you want to say it. I say it's a 4-blade head. But this thing, the profile on it, it's not huge, but because of those 4 blades, you do get more cutting surface there, over an inch of total cut. And they fly great, and they're super tough. These things are rock solid. They do really well out here in the rocky Virginia soil. You get a pass through, it buries into the ground. You don't have to worry about it. The other head that I'm gonna go with is slowly becoming my tried and true mechanical. Is the Sevr. This is the 175 hybrid and 125 grains. Love this broadhead. Great cutting surface, great arrow flight. I can't say enough good things about this head for mechanical. Now, a lot of people say, why carry both? Why not just stick to one? And the real answer is because I don't have to. I have the options, and I have confidence in both of these heads. If I only had to choose one, my go-to, my fallback is always, if I could only choose one broadhead, it would be a fixed head, just because there's no room for error there, and I can tune a bow well enough to get the arrow flight out of fixed heads that I need for mechanical. So yeah, if I had to choose one, it would be a fixed head. It would probably be a little bit bigger fixed head than this. But that said, I don't have to choose. If I want a big cut, if I'm hunting, somewhere where it's open and I've got a longer shot and I want that big cut, I can use my hybrid. If I'm in some nasty stuff and I've got an animal quartered weird or something like that, or I want to use, if it's a bigger animal and I want to use that fixed blade for more power, this is a single bevel as well. So it does have that bone crushing capability. I can throw this in there and use it. So I can really tailor my broadhead to the situation and the hunt. I say right now, my default is probably to start, like if my bow's hanging in the tree, it's probably got a mechanical on it. Again, unless I'm in some kind of tight quarters and I know I really want this shot, or if I know where the animal's coming from based on my setup, and I want this head. So that's for the arc. For the Creed, I've settled on just one broadhead. I'm not gonna use a fixed out of that one. I'm gonna use the Sevr 125 grain titanium 2.0. So that's a 2-inch cut on this head. And the reason being, these just flew so well out of that Creed. And I started with a bullet hole. I shot this head and it was just absolute money. So I didn't need to change anything else, because primarily what this bow is going to be is, especially starting off early season, I'm going to be slaying a lot of does with it, tight quarters. There's a lot of vegetation. This head's going to get it done, and I want all that blood on the ground for quick track jobs, especially if I'm urban hunting. I want those animals expiring very quickly. So this is the head that I'm going with for the Creed. So a little bit longer video. This one's not going to get a lot of reach and engagement because it's so long. But if you guys who are seeing this, if you want to share it, if you've got questions, if you ask questions in the comments, you want to talk further about broadheads, happy to do so. If I need to do a live video, I can jump onto the index page for now and do a live video question and answer session if you guys want to talk about how I test, why I test, all those different types of things. So I hope you found this informative. I hope this maybe helps you make a decision on what your hunting setup is going to be this year. I guess the last thing that I'll say on this video is my runner-up arrow and a tried and true arrow for me is the Easton Sonic 6.0 with either a 55 grain aluminum half out, or my preference is the 50 grain brass insert that you can kind of shave down the very end of the collar on it, and you can slide a 5mm number 6 match grade collar over the end of that arrow. So let me grab one of those real quick. So this is a Easton Sonic 6.0 match grade. This one has a 100 grain tip on the front. It's got the match grade collar, and it's got a brass insert. So you just, this little part of brass that's exposed, I just kind of shave that down a little bit with, I run a Dremel, and I just kind of run the head over the Dremel while it's spinning, like, I don't know, 4 or 5 times, and it just shaves it down a little bit. I glue it into the arrow. I put it on my G5 squaring device, and I square the end of it. And then I throw a match grade collar over the end. This has been a bulletproof setup, very good shooting arrow. I'm shooting this for the bow hunter games, and I may even shoot ASA with this arrow. Paige Pierce right now is shooting a Sonic 6.0 in all of her ASA stuff, and it's because it's more forgiving. Her mentality is she wants her arrow to hit right behind her pin every time, and then it becomes less of a game and more of a pure sport. It's more on her to make good shots versus, oh, I got lucky and clipped a 12 because I'm shooting some fat arrow. But those arrows are also very prone to environmental factors, right? So long story short, my runner-up and still a very versatile tool in my quiver, pun intended, is this Sonic 6.0. And if you want a good arrow that's not going to break the bank, this is my recommendation. The 5.0s are great arrows, but they are more expensive than the 6.0, but you can build these out kind of equally. If you're an out west hunter, you're shooting longer distances, sure, the 5.0, that 5mm diameter, or maybe even a 4mm is better for you. But for a whitetail guy here in Virginia or the eastern United States, the South, wherever, the Sonic 6.0 is it's really hard to beat this arrow. So yeah, thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Again, let me know if you got questions. As always, thank you guys for tuning in, and I'm glad you're here.